Amy and a couple of other people that were talking about sales, driving more sales, specifically through travel agents and travel partners, are kind of where to get started with this. So any questions for you, just ask me if there's anything that you're not quite sure of. But I wanted to give you like we're talking about step-by-steps, like where to start, how to actually, because the thing with this is that when you're trying to grow your business through resellers and specifically through travel partners, I call travel partners travel agents, destination management companies, tour operators or inbound tour operators, travel wholesalers, retail travel agents as well. I call, refer to as travel partners. Obviously very, very different to online travel agents and any other types of resellers. But what I might do is I'll share my screen. So I thought I'd just grab this, which might articulate to a few of you, like the benefits that there were for me. So like when I sold my business, okay, so basically a lot of people, like a lot of you guys would do a lot of their sales through direct, through your website, through OTAs, online travel agents, and probably they would be the two major pieces of the pie, okay? So I reckon that all of you should be building a business that has probably 4, maybe 5 different pieces of pie, okay? So different driving sales through different channels, okay? So direct, people love direct sales. Of course, they're just, it's there's not really much that you need to invest time and energy. It happens on autopilot. People go to your site, they book a tour. Okay. So there's obviously a lot that goes into that, but it's a reactive type of sales strategy. Same with OTAs. You have your products loaded with various online travel agents, Viator, Expedia, Get Your Guide, tours by locals. People book your trips. So they're great. People love direct because there's commission free. Okay. So every bit of every sale goes, into your pocket, rather than working with resellers where you need to find like 25, 20, 25, sometimes 30%. So I guess for me, my view on it is that all of you should be creating a business and running experiences, creating tours that have a margin of sort of 25% built into those. Okay. So it gives you the opportunity to work with resellers or distribution partners. So having that built into your pricing structure is going to be the best thing you can ever do. It's going to open up a whole different number of channels. You're going to be able to sell a lot more experiences. You can have a lot more eggs in a lot more baskets. And ultimately, it's going to enable you to grow your business much, much more quickly. Now, I don't want to get into pricing. That's a whole different type of thing. But a lot of you would say, well, I don't have that 25% in my rate structure. So what I would say, first of all, is people don't realize or actually think or consider what every direct sale costs them. Okay, there's a whole bunch of costs associated with direct marketing and promotion. There's running ads, there's SEO, there's like the management of your site, there's the construction of your site, all these costs. So if you actually crunch that out into what every booking actually costs you, there is a cost associated with every type of booking that is generated through direct through your website. So I like to work with distribution partners because, like for me, you're paying commission when you take a booking. Okay. So for me, it makes sense. Now, if you haven't got a 25% commission built into your pricing structure, what I would say is you need to start getting yourself to that point. I'm not going to go deep in pricing now, but ultimately, whether it's over the next 6, 12, 18 months, you should be, I wouldn't just say raising your prices. I would say, in loading your experiences with more unique features so that you're going to be able to command a higher price. Okay. So it's kind of accepted industry-wide that you could raise your prices, 4 or 5% year on year. All right. I would be figuring out how you can start to raise your prices by improving the quality of your experiences so that at a point, whether it's in 6 months or 4 months or 12 months, you can legitimately have a 20 to 25% commission built into your pricing structure. Okay. So that's that thing. So where would you start? Well, one of the things that would be really, really valuable first up is to get really clear. So when I talk about commanding more premium pricing, increasing your prices, people need to know why. Like, why are you going to be charging more? So one of the first things you would do, the places to start would be to figure out, so I'm just going to get this up here. That's the coaching program. Okay. Here I've got in the inside the Tour Business resources. Let's just take a look here. First of all, I've got this done for you outreach email script for travel partners, a long version. I've got a second one that's a short version. Okay. And we'll circle back to these a little later, but I wanted to just show you the best thing that you could do is to start figuring out this. And it's loading a little slowly, but this is a script that you could use to tweak, iterate, adapt, and to create your own outreach process. But what I wanted to do is just come down to this section here, and that is a little insight. So the key features that makes you a really tantalizing option for a travel partner, gives them confidence that you can deliver to scale, cope with demand, and you're here to stay. But what would be great is for you to start thinking about this section here. The great thing about us that although a lot of similar operators offer or focus on we're different in the sense that so how are you different? All right. What do you do that's legitimately different from your other closest competitors? That would be the first place to start. All right. Because with travel partners, it is very different to OTAs. OTAs loading lots of different products. Okay. Travel partners, they want new ideas, fresh content, and they've got a thirst for something different, something exciting, something new, especially in a time like this when they're all clamoring to try and reestablish, reinvent, relaunch. Okay. So how are you different? Now with travel partners, there's two things. One is that they say, oh, we're always open to hear about new ideas, new products, new tours, new activities. We want new content. We've got customers that are just clamoring for something new that we want to present to them. That's one side. But on the other side, in the reality, a lot of them are just really freaking lazy. And they're like, I've got stuff that I sell. All right. It may not be like the most groundbreaking wine tour in BC, but you know what? I'm confident in it. I understand it. They're consistent. I've sold them for years. And even though you're over there running what seems like a better type of wine tour with a more cutting edge approach, with more unique features, I've had Dino at Grape Escapes loaded in my system for years. He's never let me down. I don't want to go to the effort of actually loading a new type of tour. I don't want to go to the effort of loading all the new rates in, of training my team we're going to start selling a new type of superior, don't worry, Dino, this is not the case, type of wine tour. So I'm just going to keep selling the same old shit that I've always sold because you know what? It's easy and I can't be bothered making a change. There's a lot of that. All right. So you have to do some convincing. All right. So that's a really great place to start, those reasons. Following up from that, other really great place to start is here. I'm just going back over to the coaching program here. And where am I? So I'm looking for the competitor analysis. So there's, where am I looking? Works responsibility. It might be down here. Could be here. Okay. Your competitor analysis. This would also be a great place to just take a little bit of time to clarify to yourself who your legitimate competitors are. Even if you don't say, well, I run a company called Soulful Hikes and I don't actually have another legitimate competitor. What are the similar types of experiences that could take business away from you? Is it a bike ride? Is it a kayaking experience? Is it a trail ride? Is it whatever it is? So you might not be able to complete all of these sections, but the more you can flesh out your customer, your competitor analysis, the better. All right. So that's the first thing, to really solidify in your mind why you're different. Okay. And so that from that point, then, as I mentioned, it's really good for you to understand why you would want to work with travel partners. I think I just articulated that to you through that pie chart, but also I just want to say, take a look at this, right? And you guys might have seen this. These are our key accounts in the year of 2017. Now, bear in mind, our financial year runs to June 30. So these are numbers taken from 9 months of our financial year. So that's 9 months worth of revenue from one travel partner. Okay. So have a look at some of these amounts. All right. So that's 9 months worth of business. Now that is consistent. So those numbers grew probably. So ignore all the crap all over it. So don't worry about the notes. I just grabbed it. It was something I'd scribbled all over. So those numbers grew on average about 4% to 5% year on year, and had done for 5 years. So it was like so consistent. I knew that Southern Crossings would send us $230,000 of bookings a year. I just knew that. Abercrombie and Kent the same. All right. So it's like the Holy Grail. It's this consistent flow of bookings. And what did I have to do for those? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I didn't have to promote myself. I didn't have to pound pavement. I didn't have to give updates. I was just their preferred supplier, and they just sent me those bookings on autopilot every year. Okay. So it's pretty. Yeah.
When you had this list, like when you first started, how did you make this database? Did you go from scratch with these? Googling who are these in the current market, or
I'll get to that next. I'm going to give you some strategies next about where to start with this. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
When I get to the tourism association part, I'll tell you every single one of those, pretty much the majority of them came from my tourism association who said, you need to speak to company X. You need to speak to company Y. Okay. You're perfect for them. I'll make an introduction. That's probably where it started. So if you're, hey, Colin, so as an example, mate, you're probably out there going, there's no way a company's going to send me $230,000 worth of bookings. When I approached every single one of these businesses for the first time, I was just Josh with one secondhand Toyota van, wanting one opportunity. Just give me a chance to run one tour for your customers. Okay, that's how it started. All right. And as you grow, you build relationships, they believe in you, they give you more opportunities, and you grow your business. So, and Melbourne is a city the same size as, let's say, Seattle, with enough going on around it, enough regions, enough potential markets. So, what I'm saying is that it is absolutely possible for any of you guys to achieve this. And what's also surprising? So take a look at some of that. Abercrombie and Kent, yes, a big global organization. Coca-Cola, a big global organization. All right. Yeah. Exclusive Travel Group is another big one. Qantas Holidays. All right. So there's some big ones, but you know how many of these are husband and wife sitting at their kitchen table with their laptop running a business that can send, $30,000 worth of bookings. These guys, there's these guys, the companies, you know what I mean? They don't have red tape, or they don't have preferred suppliers. They're like, hey, there's a great product. Great. I'd love to use you. Bang. I'll start selling you tomorrow. Okay. So that's the why, and kind of like the possibilities for you. So that's the first thing you should really do, is to start with your figuring out how you're different. But there's the possibilities for you. So the question is, and you had this question, Karishma, where would you start? I'll just see. I might even just wrote some notes for you. So the one place I would start is your tourism associations. All right. I'm not going to talk about these in great detail, but bottom line is all of you have tourism associations. They know who your key players are. Yeah. All right. And
how do you approach them? Taking a step back,
all right,
because I'm still new to this whole world, so I might have some silly questions there.
That's okay. So there's another thing here I've got here, which is an outreach email for tourism associations. I think it's in the marketing section. All right. What's this here? Done for your outreach email script for tourism associations. All right. So in a tourism association, you want to first of all start with an email. Or people, if you would be more comfortable doing that, you would. So you're not getting on the phone and you're not thinking, oh, am I going to say the wrong thing? So start crafting your own outreach email. Now, in a tourism association, you've got people who work in, so there's market coordinators, all right? So people who actually focus on specific international markets, all right? So they are their goal, their job is to drive business out of the US market, out of the mainland Chinese market. So you want to speak to market coordinators, you want to speak to product development, people who help you create a better, like internationally ready product. Business development, the familials team, familiarizations. So they have departments in every tourism association that do these things. All right. So
But
you want to reach out to all of
list
them.
of the association, like, sorry, so I was taking a step back. So I got the email bit, but then from where do I get the names of these guys? Like who are the tourism associations? So just Google it, like who are they?
Yeah, Destination New South Wales for you. Is the obvious one. Tourism Australia. So that's super easy. So you've got governing tourism associations, you've got state tourism associations, regional tourism associations. You'll find them in 2 seconds. Contact Tourism Australia and say, so who are the tourism associations that govern the state of New South Wales? I know there's Destination New South Wales. There's also like Hunter Valley Tourism. There's all these other ones. You'll find those in 2 seconds with a bit of Googling around. You want to start building relationships with those people in those organizations, all right? And then because what every one of them has is, I mean, so take this, I showed you this the other week, right? This is a report created by my tourism association, Visit Victoria. Now I'm not going to, and like so much amazing data, I'm not going to go through it in detail. You have this, I put this in the Facebook group the other day, but what I would show you is this, right? They, all the way down here, right? They have the key contacts. Okay. So your tourism association should be able to tell you who the big players are. All right. Key wholesaler, retail contacts. All right. Who is sending business into Sydney? Which companies are the big ones that I should be reaching out to? Okay. So they will have
this document kind of thing. They can give you all this information directly.
They should do. They should do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they should. This is freezing.
And is this only when like international starts, or not necessarily? Like, is it also for locals, or only when international tourist starts?
Karishma, you just got to start building the relationships now. Okay. Yeah. Really important just to start building those relationships. So they will tell you who all these key players are. All right. And if they shouldn't, you need to persist. You know, like they have a responsibility to help you. Better quality experiences in Sydney and New South Wales translates directly into a more robust tourism economy. Okay. So every one of your tourism associations should be able to tell you who the key players are sending business. Have a look at all these. Like, and this is like a smorgasbord. It was like a ready-made on a platter. This is who you need to contact. This is all the information you might need to start reaching out to them. Okay. So that's the kind of the second step. All right. So the first would be tourism associations. They're going to tell you who to outreach. Okay. So the next one.
I'm sorry, Josh. Should I just hop in there for a second? So I mean, like, before you reach out to these, people, before you get all this information and start really like blasting, I mean, how, like I'm starting off just like you did, guy with the van, knowledge of the city, places to go, histories, stories, all that stuff, but, do you really want to develop, this whole website and create multi-day tours and create these luxury excursions prior to, reaching out to these people, or is it just like, hey, look, this is what I do now. It's simply day tours, driving tours, walking tours of the Pike Place Market, things like that. Give me a shot. And as I grow, I'm going to keep you updated. Or is it like you want to have all your ducks in a row? You want your website to be tip top. You want, everything down to the nuts and bolts.
No. You just grow, you evolve, you improve. Get out there, start building the relationship. You can talk about your exciting plans, and I'll show you where you can do that in just a second. Okay. So, obviously you need some compelling reasons why you're different, and you need to focus on you're not going to go, oh, look, I just took this business over a year ago. I'm trying to find my feet. Of course not. You're going to talk about the most compelling reasons that you can think of why they need to learn more about you, why you're unique, and why you're a better option than all the others. So start with that. Talk about the exciting plans for the future. Have a look at that outreach email, but that I've got there, and that's going to give you some ideas as to where to start. But absolutely no, I wouldn't be waiting to get all your ducks lined up. Okay, you want to start building those relationships absolutely like right now. Okay, does that make sense?
Is it a good idea to have somebody as well? Like, how we spoke about outsourcing, maybe get somebody on board with like a VA or something to help you with sending as many kind of emails.
Okay, so that's a really good question. What you are, not a lot of you have the bandwidth to hire a salesperson. Okay. In a perfect world, you would have someone in your business whose sole responsibility is just to drive sales, outreach, drive sales. So that's okay. In the immediate, that's you. All right. So what you need to do is make a decision on how much of your week you're going to take. You're going to block out to just drive sales. Okay. So it may be very different for everyone. Put it this way. The sales is where for me, it's where it all begins and ends. Okay. So every problem that you face in the future will be solved with money. Okay.
Yep.
So driving sales is your number one priority. Okay. Everything that happens, you don't have a problem down the line if that problem can be solved with money. Okay. You don't have a problem. Give yourself big problems to have. Give yourself really big problems. Okay. A big problem is, holy crap, where am I going to find 2 vehicles next week for those extra tours? A big problem is I don't have 3 more tour guides. Okay. A big problem is my systems are just stretching at the seams, trying to keep up with all this, all these opportunities I'm getting. They're great problems to have. You can solve those problems. We can solve them together. All right. But it starts with sales. So have a chunk of your week blocked out for just driving sales. Okay. And that would be outreach, and travel partners would be one of them. It's a strategy that's going to take you, months to actually start generating some really, but this is a long-term strategy. You can have immediate instant wins. Okay.
Yep.
But it definitely starts with blocking out time, because then once you start to have a little success, you've got these great systems in place.
Yeah.
And then you bring someone in to do it for you. Or you have someone, Dino, like your new admin person, who maybe blocks out a chunk of her week to just do outreach. Maybe, you know what I mean?
So it's a good idea. Yeah. So just even if it starts really small with a few hours, maybe have a VA on board.
Exactly.
To kind of get,
but it's got to be consistent. It's got to be dedicated. All right. So you block out 2 hours of every day, or 2 hours 3 times a week, just to drive sales for outreach. Okay. And it could be travel partners, it could be corporate, whatever it is, but we're talking about travel partners here. So that's the first place that you're going to go to find out all those travel partners. The second is your own research. And I have showed you this in the past. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but over here, I think I had a few ideas for you that I saw. I just grabbed this other document earlier. So there's a few places to start. All right. And again, I'll just pop them into the chat here, get that out of here. So here's a few places that you're going to start finding a bunch of travel. You don't just blanket email everyone. You got to go in there and you got to find people like, oh, that feels, her interests and her expertise match my product. She feels like a really great fit. I'm going to reach out to her. Okay. You need to personalize it. And that happens in that email that I mentioned. So even in here, I'm just going to keep writing these notes down here. So with your own research, you can, you might be outreaching 30, 40 times a week. Okay. And you might find other types of independent travel agents that really align with you. So you go in there and find people, independent travel agents, that align with your product and experience that you feel would be a really good fit. Hey, I feel like my type of customers have really good synergy with the type of customers that you have as well. You know what I mean? That's that. Facebook groups. Now, this is a really great place for a lot of you. So let's say, for example, what do I mean by that? I would invest a little bit of time. So let's say, for example, you're in Facebook and you're like, okay, well, where am I going to find the different types of travel agents? So there's so many different groups. So let's say, for example, if you're searching for independent travel agents networking, you want to find groups, relevant groups. It might be US-based independent travel agents. It might be Australian travel agents. And you want to find the right type of groups and jump into those groups, okay? You don't want sell types of promotional groups. You know, like, hey, here's my special offer for 10 days in Mauritius. You want support and networking groups, okay? And you want to jump into those groups. And the things to remember with a Facebook group is that, so you want to play around, find the right groups for you, okay? And the first things you want to do is find that they've got a bunch of members, which is great. You want to find out that they've got a lot of activity, 3 posts a day. A lot of you know this about Facebook groups. You want to find really great engaged groups that are posting, that people are sharing, commenting, supporting, and they're the ones you want to jump into. And when you do find those groups, you want to join them. What you don't want to do is start selling or promoting yourself. That's an absolute no-no, all right? What you want to do is add value to the group. You want to ask questions and you want to try and help, okay? Jump in. And it doesn't need to be like hours in there, 5-10 minutes a day. So the purpose of the group is for you to, find what you feel might be good potential partners and fits for you. You want to learn about what's happening. So you might jump into a group and go, hey, is anyone, any travel agents out there found they've had to focus more on their domestic destinations than international destinations lately? Something like that would be really valuable. If people are like, yeah, great. I used to sell Italy. Now I'm selling, a lot of Southern America because none of my clients are going to Italy anymore. So you want to start learning about those kind of things. You're going to find some really interesting things that are happening. The other thing you want to be doing is looking at the type of posts that get a lot of traction. Okay. So if someone's posted something, they got like 90 or 50, 40 comments. What did they post? Why was it so engaging? Why were people commenting? What could you learn about the way they're posting? What type of content do people engage with in the group? Okay. That's another thing. And then you want to search the groups. Has anyone posted about something similar to what you're wanting to learn about? Is there some thread about, selling, sending clients to Texas, or, you know what I mean? Is there any relevant posts? So Facebook groups are a great one. And then you can pop people on the message like, hey, I really enjoyed hey, I had a look at your website. Looks like, some amazing stuff you're doing. Do you guys sell a lot of blah, 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 blah? You know what I mean? So that can be a really, really great way for you to start engaging with people. Added to that, travel agents notoriously have their email contacts loud and clear, okay? Whether it's in their profiles on Facebook or LinkedIn, it's really easy to find their contact details. Could be like, hey, I saw you in the group. It was an interesting conversation about blah, blah, blah. Just wondering, do you blah, blah, blah? You know what I mean? So Facebook groups, does that make sense to people? Like, that can be a really great strategy for you to start building relationships or networking with the right type of agents or travel partners that could have a need for what you offer, okay? And then the other one is referrals, all right? And this one worked really, really well for me, okay? Referrals. So by this, I mean, most of you will have worked with a few travel agents in the past, or both, or some. Did I say both or most? I meant most. Most of you will have worked with a bunch of travel agents in the past, okay? Some a lot, some a few. Start working out how you can leverage other tour operators in your destination or in other destinations. For example, Dino, you're there in BC, right? Who does walking tours in your area? Who does quality premium outdoor activities like kayaking or, or cycling tours and are internationally ready? Okay. Similar size to you. Who does those kind of things in other states in Canada? Who runs wine tours in different destinations in Canada? All right. that are of a similar quality, and reach out to them. Hey, let's, I've got a few agents that have sent me consistent business over the journey. I would love to either pass on those details to you or make an introduction. How would you feel like doing the same? I've checked you out. You've got some great reviews. I've got some great reviews. You seem like you're at a certain size and can deal with volume. You're internationally ready. You're consistent. I feel like we align. How about we help each other out by introducing our respective businesses to some travel partners that are currently booking us, And so it could be an introduction. Dino says, well, I'm working with agent A, B, and C. Hey, agent A, B, and C, I thought I might like to introduce you to Jim's Wine Tours down the, they run a similar type of experience, different destination. I thought you might like to learn about them. Over to you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's super effective. And then the other one is just like, look, I'm not comfortable making an introduction, but do you want to share our list of travel partners that book us at the moment? Because if they book me, there's a good chance they'll book you as well. All right. So preferable is the introduction. So you need to be really confident in that company. All right. That they align with you. They're a similar size. They can deliver the promise consistently. They've got great reviews, all that sort of stuff. And then, so that is amazingly effective. Okay. Karishma, you might do it with city walking tours. You might do it with private tours, wine tours, whatever it is that you feel you would share a customer with. Okay.
Yeah.
For you, you don't have much leverage because you're just starting out.
Yeah, that's true.
But
and also,
you might,
is the competition thing? Like, I'm just wondering, can that be a block sometimes?
No. Why would it be a competition? Why would there be competition?
I mean, they might feel a bit reservations to kind of share their list because they might think that, then the client might go to the other person.
But why would they do that when you're not a competing experience?
No, even if it's not competing, let's say, for example, somebody is, kind of doing that activity, but they're like, okay, then, if they like the other partner, they're like, maybe we can switch over and do something different since we've always done this for a few years or whatever.
Unlikely. Well, they would do both. No, I mean, they would, that's why it works so well. You're not collaborating with a competing experience. Okay. You're collaborating with a complementary experience.
Okay. Yeah.
People might be cagey. People might be resistant to that. That's fine. Move on. That's okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you, a walking tour or a hiking tour, like down in Victoria, there's a company called Both Feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're well established. As an example, there's companies in Tasmania, there's companies in all over the place that run hiking tours that work with travel agents, international travel agents. Reach out to them. You haven't got much leverage, but what have you got to offer them? Okay. You're ambitious, you're fast growing, and the time will come very soon where you will have some partners that you'd like to share with them. You know what I mean? Like it's a way of collaborating, super effective, worked really well for me. And it will work really well for all of you. Has anyone got any questions at the moment? No? Okay, I'm going to...
I had one question. So with these travel partners, is it that all tour companies pretty much do this thing? Is it like a standard that they all work with travel partners and agents and all, or is it just few people who would resort to those kind of channels?
Every business is different. Some people only do direct business. Others do a bunch, like a real combination of direct resellers, online travel agents, travel partners. So it's very much, it's very much dependent. Yeah. Hey, guys, I feel like there's a whole bunch of people that just came into the room that haven't been on a call for a couple of weeks and wouldn't be aware that they're an hour late because because here in Australia we don't have daylight savings, so the time remained unchanged to what it did 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm guessing Nick, Micah, Amber, you guys would be in that boat. Yeah, that's cool. We've actually covered some super important grounds that's going to be really useful for you guys, that I really urge you to pick up the recording. And it's all about growing your business through travel partners. So I've been working through like a 5-step strategy based on a lot of the questions I've had during the week about how to drive sales through resellers, but traditional travel partner resellers. So yeah, we've been diving into this for the last sort of half hour, 45 minutes. And so anyway, we'll continue on. But I reckon it'll be awesome for you guys to go back. I'll have the recording up there, over the next couple of days and jump in there and pick up, what the stuff that you haven't heard. Hope you guys are good. Jump in if you've got any questions, by the way. And I'll chip in and say hi to you, in a few minutes. All right. So basically we've been looking at how to, figuring out why you're different, figuring out why it's so important to work with a bunch of different, distributors, I call them, or resellers, how it's so important to have a bunch of different sales channels, how travel partners can be so valuable to scale your business up, how to identify the right ones to work with, 4 different strategies for you to find travel partners that you can start building relationships with and start delivering long-term consistent volumes of business. So we've done all that stuff. Where I'm at right now, I was just talking to these guys about 4 different strategies for you to actually find outreach, like travel partners that are gonna, that you could potentially partner with that could sell your experiences to a ready-made customer base. So we talked about how to find them via leveraging your tourism associations, through your own research, what to look out for, how you can do that through Facebook groups, and then referrals. So you can start building your network of prospective travel partners. So kind of the next step in this, once you've got the list of, and you don't have to have your list before you start outreaching. It's like a constant process. Find great contacts, outreach, tell them about what you do, build a relationship, follow up, get an opportunity, start driving sales, and boom. So where we were kind of at, let's assume now you have got some strategies in place to consistently, continuously build your, call it a database, your list, your network of travel agents, retail travel agents, travel wholesalers, destination management companies, inbound tour operators that like, wow, yes, Nick has got a great product. It really fits with us. Yeah, we'd love to sell it. But seeing, well, correction, but then you move to the outreach process, but you've got your list, okay? And you're going to continue building that list, and you're continuing to either have a dedicated salesperson driving sales or blocking out chunks of your week to dedicate to outreach and to driving sales. So the next step is like the outreach process. And we talked about that here. And the 2 things I've got for you that are going to help are here in those inside the tour business resources. And I've got a couple of different outreach email scripts that'll be helpful. So one I call a long and one a short. Okay. So the long is, sometimes people like a lot of information. Other times a short one, people just like, wow, that sounds interesting. I'd love to know more. So they want a short hook that's going to get them to say, yeah, I'd like to learn more. So a long outreach email script I've got here. And this is something that worked really, very, very successfully for me and my team. And I've got this script here, and there's just some accompanying notes at every section of that email script and why it's important to use every part, and there's a reason for every element of it. So you just want to, first of all, just get straight to the point. You want to establish credibility, maybe drop a name of an organization, just that lets them know that you're serious and like, oh yeah, you've got some good contacts, and okay, instantly I feel comfortable hearing from you and about you. Talking about your recent achievements, I think is really good. Then you want to get down to this part here. Okay, so this is all about correction. You know what? That's the wrong one. What I should have done is click on this, but okay, but it's actually not dramatically different. But and I think I've already opened it up. Oh yeah, I've already opened it up anyway. All right, so this is correction, the outreach email script, the long script for travel partners. So I just covered those bits off. There's notes here, company notes for every aspect of it. You don't want to just copy mine, word for word. You want to just play around with it, but you make sure you want to. Those are company notes, help to keep you on track. These little blue sections, making sure you're hitting all what I believe are the really important points. They want a bit of
Josh,
background.
are you wanting to share your screen?
Oh shit! Okay, you know what? Thanks, mate. I wasn't showing my screen. God damn it! All right. Sometimes I forget. I get so carried away and. All of a sudden I forget. So that's exactly what I wanted to do. So you know what? Let's just wind. Thanks for someone being so bold as to tell me. All right, let's go back to that. All right. So what I wanted to do is, where was I? Let's wind it back up. So there's those 4 different ways that we talked about building your network of travel partners. Okay, so there's the Facebook groups, there's your own research, there's the tourism associations, and there's referrals. So guys, go back and check that out. Be really, really important for you. Then we head over to the outreach section. All right, so thanks, Blake. So here's a couple of different, and I'll show you where these are. You've got them here. There's the inside the tour business resources. You're down here. You've got your outreach email for travel partners long, and your outreach email for travel partners short. Okay, so you don't want to copy mine word for word, but you just want to hit on the key points. All right, so you've got these notes in blue, and you've got the actual email scripts in gray. Okay, so there's a couple of really important parts. You want to show that it's personalized. You've done a bit of research and homework about them, which might be jumping on their website, finding out something that they love, something they do really well. Then you've got something that helps you establish credibility. Okay, and also stroke their ego a little bit. Tell people they're wonderful, and they'll be more receptive to hearing about you. All right, a little bit of background just to show that you are established. Something down here just to show that you have got some really exciting things happening, and you've got a bright future. Some brief insights, the nuts and bolts, just to learn a little bit about your business. Okay, just the real, like the important stuff in short. And then down here, really, really important. Why are you different? Why should they take the time? Okay, so that's that. And then the last thing is just to be mindful, that they're probably really, really busy, might be preparing for the summer season, whatever it is, but you will try and give them a call in the coming days. Okay, so when you do pick up the phone, they're kind of ready for you. So that was really effective. That's the long version. And then over here, you've got the short version. All right. And then the short version is, as I say, for those people that don't like a long, wordy email, that wasn't that long and wordy, but it just hits on all the critical elements that are going to get people to take you seriously. So this is it's like a condensed, different type of, to the one that I just showed you. And this is all about engagement. You want people to go, oh, this sounds interesting. I'd love to hear more about this. Okay, so this one, I thought it'd be a great time to reach out. This is like for a COVID time. Right now, I'm guessing that you're wanting to set yourself apart. You're wanting different ideas. Anyway, so then down here, show you've done a bit of homework. I noticed you, by the way, I was speaking to about you. Sounds amazing. That's really important to know that you're not blanket emailing people. You've been around for a bunch of time and you're really different for these reasons 1, 2, and 3. Feel like learning more. That's it. And then ultimately you'll get a response that'll say, yeah, great, I'd love to learn more. And then the gates open, boom. You're like, that's so anyway, there's 2 different types of outreach emails to play around with. Okay. And they were really effective for me. So that's the outreach process. And then you're going to start hitting up those contacts that you've made from that list. You're going to start calling them. As you have promised, I'll follow up with a call. People are going to say, yeah, I'd love to learn more, send something through. Any questions at this stage? And then I'll just dive into the last section. Cool. All right. So,
Josh, just one question. When you're sending these emails out, is this just one-to-one, or are you talking about creating an email and then blanketing in the BCC field with,
No, it's got to be personal. You're like, hey, I've chosen you. That's the thing about these travel partners. I've chosen you because I think we're a really good fit. All right. So if you set aside an hour for outreach, you might send out 30 emails in that time. Okay. You're wanting to see results over 2 months, 3 months, 6 months as you start to build momentum. Okay. People are really interested in what you do. You get opportunity like, yeah, I've got a group coming into town. Sure. I'll give you that first opportunity. You know what I mean? So you do not want to be sending out in this strategy. There's other strategies that are more mass, more generic, but in this one, especially with travel partners, a very tailored, targeted, direct approach will serve you long-term. And yes, it takes a bit of time, but it will serve you long-term. And as I showed you guys earlier, that is the approach that ultimately a few years later allowed me to build a network of travel partners that were doing well over like $1 million a year in sales. And then some. This is an approach that works for all these guys. Okay. So it does work, but if you're wanting to, like, you need to complement it with other approaches, you know, driving direct sales, which are just like bang, 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 coming from straight from your website, you know, seeing it, booking it, OTAs, hotel concierges and accommodation providers, referral business, local collaborations, all these things. But this is a long-term strategy that can pay massive, massive results over a period of time. Okay. Does that make sense?
I guess just one more thing that I wanted to touch on is, you know, I guess in my mind, I've kind of devalued, not right now.
I need to
Yeah.
Join the club, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving, you know, close quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah, not right now, buddy. Okay. I guess I've just over the time just kind of devalued the concept of the travel agent, like with the, you know, Expedias and everything out over the course that so many people are just doing their own bookings. And, you know, from, you know, what I've learned in this course and talking to you, it just sounds like they're still just driving and tons of people just talk to these people and say, just book everything for me. I don't even want to deal with it.
Here's my take. You're absolutely right. So yes, there was a big shift online and that will continue to happen. But I am seeing, and I witnessed, and even in my time running my business, if you're a more premium product, especially like an experience, like a different, exciting product, like, okay, so there is a big, big element of society that is moving back to the travel designer, take care of everything, but also wanting bragging rights, something more meaningful, something more memorable. And so there's people who are going back to having that dedicated travel designer that is taking care of everything for them. That is absolutely happening. Okay. And we'll continue. There'll always, in my view, that there will always be a need for that person. Okay. So then with your outreach, they want to take you seriously. So here's a few things. Once you've actually got the green light, yeah, great. Send me through some things. That's your green light. Sure. I'd love to hear more. There's a few things. There's a few ways to go about it. Play around with this. Again, here's a sample email that you could use. All right. Again, it's got some bullet points there. Use it for inspiration, create your own, but that was something that we used and it was really effective. Okay. So they want a cover email. Then they want some terms and conditions. Okay. And here's an example of mine. You'll want to create your own. This is the kind of stuff that you would like to include. If they're going to take you seriously, a terms and conditions document, that would be everything a travel agent would need to work with you. Okay. So something along that line would be really valuable. And then they obviously need your products and rates. Okay. So down here, you would have your tour descriptions. Now, you may or may not do it this way. You may have just your tour descriptions, and then you may have a separate rates document. That's cool. This one had them both together. All right. That doesn't mean you need to do it that way. You may have your tour descriptions, and then separately, you may send them a separate rates document. That's totally fine. And then the other thing you might have for travel agents, so this is your marketing copy. You might have an internal document, which is more detail oriented. Okay. Here's the timings. This is how long we stop at places. And that's for trade, because sometimes they get all the questions from their customers. Oh, I love that tour. How long do we go there? Do we stop there? What time do we come there? What time do we get back? Having all that stuff, or like an FAQ. document is really important for travel agents. You want to make their job as easy as possible to sell it, so they're not having to come back and forth to you for questions. So that's that. All right. So that is the way that you would
And
tackle
so
it.
when you're quoting rates, are you quoting like you talk a lot about the commissions that you're going to be paying these people so you can encourage them to work with you. Are you saying like this is the cost to your customer, or is this the cost to you?
This is how you do it here.
I don't know if it's more efficient to
Do it this way.
take in everything and then pay them out, or just
it is. That's exactly what they want. Is this? Yep.
Cut 20% out and say, you just pay me this, and then you can charge them whatever you want.
No, this is the way they want it. Okay. They want a retail rate, which is what the customer pays, and they want a net rate, which is what they pay you. Okay. So that less that is 25%. Okay. So all my rates were set up on 25%. So remember again, you got a retail rate. That's what they sell it to the customer. They got a net rate. That's what you receive from the agent. Okay. That makes sense?
And these documents were, or these tours were based off of private tours, right? These were not
Correct.
like one passenger and that's the only person on that passenger. It's not like you're selling just the one ticket to join the ride.
No. So look at this as an example. Let's say you're looking here. You've got a tour, right? It's my Understanding Real Melbourne tour. If they've got one customer who wants to take that tour, great. It's $890. Okay. So that's what the customer pays the travel agent. The travel agent pays you $667. All right. It's one tour. It's a private tour for one person. Never, ever, ever did I combine groups. Okay. That makes sense. So if they got a group of 10, it's a private tour for 10. It costs $3,100. They pay me $23.28. So I created my rates based on this here. All right. So my margins, my gross profit margin. So everything I expected that I would only ever receive the net rate for my tours. If I ever sold them direct, awesome. It's like the cherry on top. Okay. But I knew that I could sell $2 million worth of tours all at a net rate and my business will be wildly profitable. Okay. That's the way that ultimately you want to get to that point. All right. So now the travel agents have got your rates, your cover email, your terms and conditions, your product information. That's awesome. And then you just need to continue to keep them in the loop, waiting for that first opportunity. Okay. And it's got to be, am I sharing now? No. Am I? No, I'm not. So hold on. I am confusing myself. All right. I'm back. So that's where, so there's a lot of work that's come to that point. It will happen. Sometimes you'll be banging your head against the wall thinking, why won't they give me an opportunity? And then 6 months later, they're sending 30 or 40 grand worth of bookings to you. Okay. You got that one opportunity. All you want is that one opportunity. Okay. And the way to do it is to continue to be following up. You might send them. Okay. So, and in that terms and conditions document, by the way, you know what would be awesome? Embed a little 2-minute video just about you. And it doesn't need to be like, we offer this and this and this. It's you in a really scenic environment, talking like a real person, not some weirdo in front of a camera. Okay. And it's just like, this is me. This is my story. This is what I do. People love a story and they love outcomes and results. Okay. They don't want to know all the crap like, we go here and we go there and then we go to this winery and then we do that. And, they want to hear it. You want to tell a story that makes people lean in. So why do you do what you do? Well, I was in the corporate world, it just sucked. I knew there was something better for me. And I launched this tour because it just brings everything together that I've always wanted to do with my life. And it just lights me up every day. And that's why I do what I do. And so what we do is a little different to the others. They're really great over there at doing X, Y, and Z. But here we're a little different because we A, B, and C. We deliver result, outcome, result. Okay. And that's why I would love an opportunity to show you how I can give that same outcome to your customers. Anyway, that's me signing off. Okay. Just embed a 2-minute video, speaking like a really, tell your story. People love a story. They'll love a result. They'll love an outcome. They don't give a shit about all the crap in between. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So sometimes I have travel agents on tour without me knowing that they're travel agents, and during the tour they say that they're travel agents and they love the tour, but then for me it's kind of hard to, they're excited, they know what I do, they see what I do and like it, but then how do I get them to send me people? Because then in theory they were already engaged, I have their email, but then how do I get those booking flowing? Because many of them, they just like to go through like these OTA type pages to book tours rather than going directly through the seller or through myself.
There's no reason why they shouldn't come direct to you.
That's what I would say. That's
Yeah.
what I would say.
Yeah. So let's work direct. Let's make the conditions so beautiful that they will come direct. You know, is that do they work with you directly on a 25% commission rather than via a reseller, which they're only making 10% or 15%, you know? So how do you make those conditions so appealing to them? All right.
Okay.
And then what you want to do, you want to be following up. There's, hey, here's a really cool video I shot. Like every second week. Hey, I thought you'd love a couple of images from one of my tours with the Digital family. We had an awesome time. Boom. Hey, a little video. I just wanted to show you this thing that we did. Boom. You know, I created these new experience enhancers. By the way, look at the resources in the program about my experience enhancers. That was one way that we did some really, really great volume of business as well. Or it could, ultimately what you want to do is get them to experience one of your tours, which may not be viable. One of their team members to experience one of your tours, which may not be viable, or that first opportunity. I just want one opportunity. I'm just going to show you, you send me Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and you wait and see what happens when they come back to you after their experience with me. You just want that one opportunity. Okay. And so you need to just chip away and chip away for that one. Once that one opportunity can turn into $100,000 a year in sales. Okay. And you never know who's going to be able to drive the volume. Some of my biggest accounts were a husband and wife working from their kitchen bench on 2 laptops that had customers that would spend $30,000 or $40,000 on a holiday with them. Okay. And they would spend, you know what I mean? So you just don't know. All right. So that is, and then it's just follow up, be consistent. You know, you're not going anywhere. You want that one opportunity, and you'll keep chipping away and working for it. Okay. So I've got another call that I've got to take in about 3 minutes. Josh said earlier that he makes the tours more valuable. We covered some awesome ground beforehand for you guys that have just come into the call. I had a couple of these questions. So I've actually done a lot of talking and not a lot of, you know, ad hoc question answering through this call, but it's a really valuable, and this should be one pillar of your sales strategy. Okay. Directs, OTAs, accommodation providers, cruise ships, travel partners. Cruise ships and travel partners might sort of overlap in some ways, but maybe not. Clubs, groups, and societies, the corporate world. You know, I think all of you, if you haven't, you should probably choose 4 sales channels and then figure out how much time you're going to spend growing them. One is direct. Okay. You know, you might be working with a marketing agency. You might be working with Tourism and Tiger. You might be driving more sales through your site. Awesome. Super important. OTAs, you might be doing some great business through Viator and Expedia, Get Your Guide, you know, Tours by Locals. And you don't really have to work hard for that business. It's on autopilot, you know. Great channel. 30% over there doing directs. 30% over there. Correction. Right now, it could be 60% directs. Could be 35% through Viator. That's not healthy. Okay. Imagine a business where you're not actually, those accounts are not decreasing, but you've got 40% in 12 months from now, 40% of your business is through travel agents sending you like consistent, $10,000 bookings. Okay. Wow. You got that. Then you've got 30%, which, your direct business used to be 60. It's actually increased, but it's only 30%. How awesome would that be? Anyway, I've got to fly. This probably, I hope, has been motivating, eye-opening, and has probably elicited a whole bunch more questions from you. So, which is great. We can tackle those next week.
Sounds good. Thanks,
All right.
Josh.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks,
Josh.
Good
Thanks,
night.
Josh.